time to look back at the last Forge FC contest.
Simply stunning stuff. And finally, their goal.
Here is Match and Review.
My word, what a rocket.
With Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network.
Hello, Forge fans. It's the Forge Audio Network. I'm Anthony Urciuoli. This is Match in Review. The final whistle has gone, and we are live with instant reaction. Wow. This team does not give us easy games to watch, to feel comfortable in. That has not been the case recently, and there was no exception tonight in Halifax. Forge FC dropping 3 points, losing 2-1 to Halifax after a final second, literally final second PK goal by Halifax after Forge had tied it late. I will give you my reaction to that final goal and the call that led up to it, and everything before that as well. Let's get started here. I know the feelings can't be great right now if you're a Forge fan and you're frustrated, and you know what? Forget it. Let's just jump right into that final, because if you're watching the game, you're not interested in what happened in the opening minute. So let's just get right into it here. First of all, a couple things happened on that final goal that led up to the PK. You're in the final minute. A straight long ball should not allow a player to get in behind your defense. So Forge playing a little soft. Maybe it was late. I don't know what's going on, but they allow Halifax to get behind them on just a very simple, straight, long ball. And as a result, it draws a penalty in the area after Tristan Henry tries to come down and cut down the angle. It's absolutely the correct call in terms of it being a PK. Here's the thing. The referee, if you're going to give the advantage and allow the play to continue, you cannot then go back and give and award the PK. You let them play on. That was already the decision that was made from the referee, to play on. And Halifax got their opportunity. They had a chance at essentially a wide open goal. Everything's happened so quickly. I can't even remember who blocked the eventual shot, but Forge player standing on the goal line blocked the opportunity that was given after the advantage. I mean, that was your PK essentially. You had a free shot at the goal from a few yards out with a player standing in the goal that can't use his hands. That was your chance. You don't then get that chance, miss it, and then get another chance from the spot. I don't know. Listen, I don't know. Maybe I've been understanding the sport and I don't understand the rules to this point. Maybe I'm just still learning somehow. I don't know. But as far as I know, that's the way it goes. When you give the advantage and you let that play out, that's the end of it. You don't then go back and give them a second. Halifax essentially had two opportunities with a point blank shot at the goal. The first of which had a player standing there, which that didn't go in. The Forge player, again, apologies, I don't remember who was standing there. It just happened. He blocks it. That's it. That was your chance to score. You don't then get a second opportunity from the spot. I don't understand. I don't know. But that's what happened. Listen, that whether that went the right way or wrong way, whatever, I will still mention, because, you know, the referee deserves the criticism for that. However, the club also deserves criticism for allowing that opportunity that late and for waiting so long to get going in the first place. So with that, let me take you back to about 2 hours ago. We're going to go back in time a little bit. Forge, Halifax, at Wanderers grounds. I will say this, as frustrating as that match was to watch from a Forge perspective, I guess we can say. I will say this. I do love Wanderers grounds. It's annoying, but I kind of love that it's annoying. Like it's a night. I mean, it looks like it's a nightmare to play in if you're an opposing team. I love the atmosphere. It's about a 6,500 seat stadium. That grounds has been there since the 1800s. Has a lot of history. And in fact, here's what I learned today. Babe Ruth appeared at on that same piece of land, essentially, back in 1942 during a Navy baseball game between Halifax and Toronto. He failed to hit a home run, by the way, in that one. So Babe Ruth did not hit a home run at Wanderers grounds, but he did play that. That tells you how much history is at this field. I love that. I love how close the fans are. I kind of love that every single shot that misses the mark, nearly decapitate someone, because that's how close they are to the back of the net and just surrounding the pitch. And, as a TV product, the sounds, I swear you can hear like conversations between two people in the stands at times. At one point I heard a woman yell out, "Drinks are on Tyler." In the middle of the match, I heard a conversation with a woman saying drinks were on Tyler. I don't know who Tyler is, but he owes somebody drinks. But I don't know. I like it. And I also like the fact that it's very unique. It's unique to this league. It's something, it's a little just different. It's accessible. There's some heart there. There's some kind of grittiness to it. I like it. There's a lot of character. And that's what I like about this stadium. And you imagine it as a visiting player. I mean, imagine what these players hear from the fans. I mean, you can hear it on TV, individual play, hey, 10, whatever. But imagine being a player and having to kind of stand there and take that abuse from the fans. I don't know. Listen, I like it, but that's just me. Forge coming out with a familiar look in terms of their lineup. It was that 4-3-3, which is very fluid. Razard Rama, Dominic Samuel as the two fullbacks, Mandrakar James, Alex Ashinoti Janssen as the center backs, Tristan Henry in goal, of course. Kyle Becker, Abubakar Sissoko in the midfield, and they were joined by Kadeem Kane. I'm going to apologize, Kadeem, and also to your friends and family that might be listening. It's the last time I'll bring it up. A couple games ago, though, he had a really tough moment. Bobby Smirnitos came right back to Kane. He started him the next match, the last match in Hamilton, and he starts him again today. I like it. A lot of confidence shown in your young player. And Kadeem Kane shows some flashes of being a guy in this league. Even, you can kind of see those moments where, I mean, we're looking at potentially a box-to-box type of midfielder. And the only way he's going to get to that point is with playing experience. And full credit goes to this club and the coaching staff for giving Kadeem Kane another shot in the starting lineup. And he had some moments again. Wubens Pacias, Taron Campbell, Tristan Borges were your forwards for Forge FC. And right away, 24 seconds in, Kadeem Kane, a takeaway, backtracks, takes the ball away, pokes the ball to a teammate, and Forge was able to turn around and start an attack. Forge came out early, very aggressive, high press, forcing a lot of Halifax turnovers. Halifax needed to just kick the ball out of bounds to relieve some of that pressure. Forge getting the job done high up the field. And Halifax, they were on their heels. I mean, the statement was made. Forge is here. We are going to put the pressure on you. And you're forcing Halifax to play out the back, which is not something they're necessarily comfortable with. And not, they aren't necessarily that kind of team. So you're forcing them into uncomfortable situations. And it worked early. Even in the 17th minute, Taron Campbell is coming off a 2-goal performance. It was a great play on the Pacias goal in that last match as well, the winning goal, where unselfishly acted as a decoy to give his teammate some room. He does so many good things off the ball. And in this case, in the 17th minute, as an attacker, he tracked all the way back and was defensive third, picked the pocket, of Halifax's most dangerous attacker at the moment, Aiden Daniels, and forced a turnover. And you don't see that from your striker in fact, you don't see it ever. So Taron Campbell putting the work in. Work rate has always been, we know he scores goals. He's the all-time leading goal scorer in this league. But his work rate is just, it is second to none, and it was on full display. Now, Forge did get caught on the counter. I mentioned the aggressiveness, and I said that the key thing I said there was that it was working for Forge early on. Here's the problem when you play that aggressive. You can get caught on the counter, and you need guys that can get back and recover. And they do have those guys, and it happened. There were some moments there where Forge had to backtrack. When you have Dominic Samuel and Razar Rama as your fullbacks, you can play a little more aggressive because you have guys. You guys have guys with the engine that can get back when they need to, and they did for the most part. However, 25th minute, it was costly. Halifax taking a 1-0 lead. Farron, listen, after Forge, their press was beaten, a little too aggressive. Here comes Halifax on the counter. Farron was able to cut into the middle of the pitch way too easily, by the way. He had so much space. And he got off a clean shot that went inside the right post. And just like that, Halifax has a 1-0 lead after they didn't have much going in the way of anything at that point. Forge looked like the aggressors, looked like the team on a mission. There's a funny thing happens, though. When you give up that first goal, and do I need to remind you of two of the three keys that were presented to you by me ahead of the match. Key number 2 was first out of the gate. Score first. Forge, coming into this match, had given up the first goal in 6 of their last 6 matches. 6 consecutive matches. Now you can make it 7. And there was an opportunity here because Halifax had given up the first goal in 5 of their last 7. Halifax with the second least amount of clean sheets. So they were a team that if you had them down, especially early, it was going to be difficult for Halifax to dig themselves out. However, it did not go that way. Third key that I presented was hush Halifax. Take the fans out of the game. Get an early lead, then you can play your possession game and completely. That woman who was was demanding that Tyler buy everyone drinks, we probably wouldn't have even heard her by that point because the crowd would have just been done with it, bored. Forge has whatever 55-60% of the possession. They have a lead. Halifax is pressing. They're not used to. They don't really have the guys that can do whatever the case may be. I shouldn't say that. They do have some of the guys, but collectively, Halifax is not that team that's going to be able to claw back and is going to be able to afford to play from behind for very long. Let's just put it that way. That, though, was moot at this point because Halifax took an early lead. And I got to tell you, again, the reason the first goal is so important, I just gave you a bunch of reasons, but for Forge, they're a different team when they're playing comfortable and confident. And yes, they won their last match at home, a 4-3 match, a thriller, one where they had to battle back multiple times, and then they blew a lead and had to come back from that. And it was a great. I thought in terms of a team that was struggling to score, they had gone I think prior to that goal against Ottawa at home, they had gone around 273 minutes without scoring. So to have a 4-goal effort, I thought they got so much out of that game just mentally, and their confidence had to be building. But when you go into Halifax, you're playing well, you kind of get beat by a bit of a mistake, you're a little overly aggressive and can't come back and can't recover. It's demoralizing. It doesn't completely wipe away what happened in that Ottawa match, but you had that feeling that they were kind of back into that kind of rut they were in. There was a feeling there. And And the one soccer guy, I mean, they mentioned it during the broadcast, but something just happened to Forge after that opening goal. Not a ton of movement. The energy wasn't there. There was instances where Kyle Becker, who was fantastic in this match, by the way, he had the ball and he almost, looking around, he wanted to deliver the ball to somebody, but too many guys standing still, not enough movement. The energy level was not where it needs to be. And, they had more pace when they were defending than when they were on the attack. So finally, 36th minute, Forge gets their first shot on target. It was Kadeem Kane with the takeaway, right? I thought Kane was good. Takeaway, led to possession for Becker, delivered to Borges. Borges beats his man one-on-one. That's something that we love to see from Tristan Borges, as good as anybody 1v1. Beats his man, gets into open space to the right side of the area, and makes forces the keeper to make a big save on a really tough shot, and that's what you need. But it took 36 minutes for Forge to hit the target. And another example, right before half, I saw Borges, again looking dangerous, makes a delivery to the far post, to the backside. He didn't have any teammates there. He had 3 players in the central part of the area, but no one drifting to make space for themselves to get to that far post. So the ball ended up just going to no one and bouncing out of bounds. So they go into halftime, does Forge and Halifax with a 1-0 lead. Your halftime stats: expected goals, 0.53 for Forge, 0.32 for Halifax. How many times have we been through this? Teams that have played Forge have just been efficient. I don't know why this has been a trend. It just seems to go that way. Teams don't seem to need that many opportunities. And Tristan Henry has been fantastic this season. This is not on the keeper, because these are not stoppable shots. I mean, not only are teams being efficient, but they're getting really good opportunities. So, and in the case of the goal that Halifax did score, I mean, what do you do when a guy has free reign coming down the right side into the center of the pitch and is able to curl a ball into the right side of the post? What are you going to do as a keeper? So Forge not getting much done in that first half. They did have the edge in possession at 54%. Dangerous attacks: Forge FC 42, Halifax 16. 42 dangerous attacks and only 1 shot on target, which matches what Halifax had on target. Forge missed the target on 5 shots off goal in this one for Forge FC. Goalkeeper only had to make 1 save. So yeah, there you go. Second half now, Malik Oluwabi-Bellewu comes in, forces Soko. So Ashton Yodi-Janssen moved up. Samuel moved back to that center back spot that he is accustomed to, and Malik went out to the left side to play fullback. Sluggish start to the second half. Halifax able to sit back into their medium to low block. Forge really not able to create much. Noah Jensen comes in, as does Kwesi Poku in the 67th minute. Taron Campbell, Kadeem Kane come off. It was disappointing. Campbell put the work in, but it was just disappointing to not see him get more opportunities with the ball at his feet. After, coming off that 2-goal performance, he was so good at home. And he was, again, in this one, some really good plays off the ball. I mentioned where he came back and defended so well as an attacker as well in that first half against Halifax. And we didn't see him get many opportunities offensively. And it was just the theme in this match for the most part. You wanted to see a little more with Campbell, just in terms of him having the ball at his feet. I will say, I understand it's part of the game and its gamesmanship and all that. But the time wasting, I mean, it did end up, the time did get tapped. We had 7 minutes of stoppage time in the second half. So Halifax in full time wasting mode. I have never seen one team suffer so many cramps in such a short period of time. So Halifax doing their thing, playing against Forge, just trying to slow the game down, not give Forge any momentum. just waste as much time as possible. Now, 76th minute, Noah Jensen did have an opportunity. Again, not many shots on target in this one for Forge, especially in the first 75 minutes or so. Jensen did have a shot, though, in the 76th. It was stopped by Filion, but it was Forge's biggest chance of the half, and it didn't come until the 76th minute. It really looked like, not intentionally, but Forge abandoned that Bobby Ball identity of theirs. Too many individual efforts. That is the sign of a team playing frustrated, guys wanting to do too much. I mean, you admire players for wanting to carry the team on their back and to do something and to create something. And an incredible individual effort can go a long way. But there were too many in this match for Forge FC. Not enough. I wouldn't say trust. It's not that they don't trust each other, but in these moments, a lot of players just wanted it. But that's not what makes this team great. It's not what fits into their identity. It's their ability to move the ball and do it with pace and fluidity. That is this team's identity. And they didn't look like that team for most of this match. 81st minute, Malcolm Duncan comes in, as does Jordan Hamilton. Pasillas, Rama out. So Forge replacing Pasillas with Hamilton and putting Duncan in for Rama. Duncan with a little more of that offensive flair as Forge desperate for an equalizer, and they got it. It looked like Forge is going to walk away from this one with a point. Kyle Becker, who else? Clinical, left-footed strike from about 20 yards out. Borges, back-to-back games with an assist now. Those two guys hooking up. How many times have we seen the Becker-Borges combination over the last 4+ seasons? And let's go back to those three keys. Key number one was lead by example. Lean on your leaders in the big moments. And there is no bigger leader in this league than Kyle Becker, and he gets the job done. Forge was a different team after that goal. The confidence was back. They were playing as a team again. They looked dangerous. Halifax was on their heels, which is why it is so disappointing to see how this game ended. Halifax had nothing. They were clinging. They were they were dying. They were happy to get out of this match with 1 point. It's all they were looking for at this point. They were defending. All it took was one long ball straight down the center of the pitch, and it allowed Halifax to get in behind the Hamilton defense. And look, at the end of the day, I broke it down early. I don't know how much deeper into it. A clear foul from Tristan Henry as he's just trying to cut down the angle. Referee gives Halifax the opportunity to play the advantage. They do. They get a shot on target. A Forge defender blocks it on the goal line. That's the end of the play. At least it should have been. But Halifax got a second opportunity, essentially. I mean, yeah, look, I know I talked, but not only did you got a shot on target during the advantage, you do not get a second. I don't know. What am I going to tell you? It should not have ended up getting to this point. Forge needed to be better in so many different areas. I'm not going to say they deserve to win this one necessarily, but at the very least, they deserved a point at the very least. And listen, Halifax steals one. I'm going to give you the expected goals in this matchup because this is a theme. Expected goals in this matchup. Forge, 1.16. Halifax, 0.34. This is how crazy it is. I told you in the first half, the expected goals for Halifax was 0.32. In the second half, their expected goals, are you ready for this? 0.02. I mean, that is as close to zero as I've ever seen. And they come away with a win. That's the way it goes sometimes. Ball possession, 56% in favor of Forge. Dangerous attacks, 70-40 in favor of Forge. And Forge, again, in that second half, as it went on, it wasn't a great start to that second half. But Forge did end up getting 4 shots on target in that half. Halifax keeper saves, four stops for Filion. So, and shot attempts 16-9 in favor of Forge FC. I when I say I don't know that they necessarily deserved all 3 points, I say that from a standpoint of we're expecting so much more from these guys. I think that's where it comes from. Any other moment, you look at the expected goals and you go, Forge should have won this match. And ultimately, they should have, but I wouldn't necessarily say they deserved it only because, and I say this because I think this team can be a lot better. And I don't think this was their best effort. Certainly, they played better than Halifax. So from that standpoint, if we're going to eliminate expectations and be fair, Forge was the better team. And so when holistically, yes, Forge deserved to win this match. They were the better team, right? 1.16 expected goals to 0.34. I just thought they gave way too much away here. And they needed to be better at a lot of areas. Disappointing response after that match against Atletico Ottawa. I mean, it's frustrating all around. And so now they will have to sit with this one for a bit because they have about 8 or 9 days in between matches. They don't play again until next Sunday. And in that match, they will play York United on the road, 9:05 derby, 7:30 p.m. And of course, it's well within, if you are in Hamilton, York is well within your geographical range to go and support the away club here. Before we kind of wrap things up here, we should take a look at the updated standings at the conclusion of this match. Forge FC came into this one in second spot. They will stay there for the time being with 19 points. They are 5 points out of top spot, but they are giving up 3 matches in hand. And York, 2 points back of Forge. They have a match in hand. So that game next Sunday is going to be massive because it will likely determine who is alone in second place on the CPL table. Halifax, by the way, give them credit. They're now in 4th place with that win. They're only 3 points back of Forge, and they have 2 matches in hand. So this is just the way things have gone for Forge FC, and perhaps the extended week is a good thing. Sometimes having to sit with these things motivates you to just want to get rid of this feeling and never feel it again. So again, I don't know that the full effort was where it needed to be, but let's just say it was more of an execution problem than an actual effort problem, because certainly they gave it their all in terms of effort. But they could have been better in a lot of different areas. I thought they could have responded better after giving up that opening goal. And I think they just needed to be sharper in those final moments when they were pushing for that winning goal and ended up giving up a late goal. And did not catch much of a break from the officiating at the very end. If you listen to this channel regularly enough, you know that I never, ever, ever blame officiating. I just don't do it because I think there are plenty of opportunities within a match for you to take matters into your own hands. And when you don't take it, you leave things up to chance that shouldn't be left up to chance. Having said that, that's a massive mistake at the end there. You cannot give a PK after you allowed a team to play the advantage and get where they got a shot on target. It can't happen. So mistake from the official, and it is what it is. It's the nature of the business. All right. Your final one last time. If it's too painful, you can cover your ears. 2-1 Halifax with a win over Forge FC. And we now go into a bit of an extended week. Remember, subscribe to the Forge Audio Network. You can do that via podcast. You can do it on YouTube. And throughout the week, you will get a steady dose of content. Mackenzie will give you your Forge Daily and Behind the Beard. I will get you your match day preview. We'll look ahead to York, as well as 3 keys to the match. And then we'll be back live with a match in review immediately following Sunday's match. All right, that's it. Enjoy your long weekend. Happy Canada Day in advance. And we will talk to you very soon.
This has been Match in Review with Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network. For the latest on all things Forge FC, subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.